Welcome to the Trading Psychology, a channel dedicated to mastering the mind behind the market. Have you ever wondered why two traders, using the exact same strategy, can end up with completely opposite results? One builds consistency, the other collapses in chaos. The difference isn't in their charts, it's in their state of mind. Jesse Livermore once said, "The game of speculation is not for the mentally lazy or the emotionally unbalanced," and decades later, Mark Douglas echoed, "Trading is not about being right or wrong, it's about managing money and emotions." Today, we'll dive into that hidden world, the real battlefield inside every trader. We'll uncover why your mind, not your method, determines your outcome. Backed by behavioral science and real trading psychology research, this might be the moment you finally see the truth. And stay until the very end, because we've prepared a powerful practice exercise to help you apply what you'll learn today. So, if you're ready to end your trading struggles once and for all, hit like, subscribe to the Trading Psychology, and share this video with a friend who's chasing the same dream, because what you'll discover here could change how you trade forever. Chapter 1: The Illusion of Strategy Mastery. Every trader begins their journey believing that the next big secret, the next strategy, the next setup, the next indicator will finally unlock the door to consistent profit. But here's the uncomfortable truth: strategy is never the problem is how you use it. Richard Dennis once said, "I could publish my trading rules in a newspaper and no one would follow them." Think about that. The man who trained the legendary turtle traders revealed his exact system to the world, and still, most would fail to apply it. Why? Because rules are easy to write, but discipline is almost impossible to live. And then there's Ray Dalio, who reminds us, pain plus reflection equals progress. That's not just philosophy, it's neuroscience and behavioral finance at work. According to a 2017 study published in the Journal of Behavioral Decision-Making, traders tend to repeat losses not because their systems are flawed, but because their minds are. Emotional bias, overconfidence, and fear of missing out distort perception long before the chart ever does. Here's the twist that separates amateurs from professionals: losing trades don't come from bad strategies, they come from reactive minds. The system is neutral, it's your attachment that turns it into a weapon against yourself. You add a new indicator, you change your entry rule, you double-check a losing trade, and deep down, you're not analyzing, you're seeking comfort. That's not strategy, that's fear disguised as logic. So tonight, take a hard look at yourself, pull up your last 3 trades that went wrong. Don't fix them, study them. Ask yourself, was this a strategic error or an emotional impulse? If you find your heart made the decision before your plan did, you've found the real source of loss. When you label your mistakes as technical or psychological, you stop being blind. You start seeing patterns that charts could never show you, and that's when growth begins, not when you change your strategy, but when you start mastering your state of mind. Because the moment you realize your system isn't broken, you've just stepped into the most powerful truth in trading. The edge was never in the method, it was always in you. Chapter 2: The Emotional Architecture of Trading. Trading isn't just about charts, indicators, or strategies, it's about what happens when your mind collides with the market. Brett Steenbarger captures this perfectly. Your trading psychology is not just what happens inside your head, it's what happens when your mind meets the market. Every tick, every candle, every sudden spike is a trigger, and your brain reacts long before your conscious mind can intervene. Daniel Kahneman reminds us how fragile our perception of control really is. Our comforting conviction that the world makes sense rests on a secure foundation. Our almost unlimited ability to ignore our ignorance. In other words, we think we are in control, but beneath the surface, automatic responses, fear, greed, and uncertainty dictate our behavior. Even the most sophisticated trader is not immune. The human brain evolved to prioritize survival over profit. Research in 2020 published in Psychological Science underscores this truth. Traders under stress experience heightened emotional arousal, which hijacks logical reasoning. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and judgment, becomes less active, while the amygdala, the fear and reward center, takes over. Decisions made in this state are rarely rational, they are reflexive, defensive, or impulsive. This is why 2 traders using identical systems can have diametrically opposite results. One maintains composure, the other succumbs to emotional hijacking. Here's the hard truth: markets are designed to exploit your emotions. Every sudden move, every volatile spike, every overnight gap is a test. Your edge comes not from the chart, but from your ability to recognize, measure, and manage your own reactions. Emotional mastery isn't soft psychology. It's your practical armor in the battlefield of trading, because the moment you realize that every loss isn't about the market being wrong, but about your mind being unprepared, you gain a power that no strategy can offer. The chart doesn't control you, the architecture of your mind does, and mastering it is the sharpest edge a trader can ever wield. Chapter 3: Identity, Ego, and the Trader's Mind. Every trader wants to succeed, but the invisible trap lies in who they think they are. Ed Seykota famously said, "Everybody gets what they want from the market. On the surface, it sounds like a simple law of supply and demand, but beneath it lies a psychological truth. The market reflects not just opportunity, but the trader's internal identity. If you define yourself by wins and losses, the market becomes a mirror that constantly challenges your self-worth." James Clear adds another layer of insight: "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." A great trader doesn't rely on lofty ambitions or pride, they rely on processes, routines, and self-discipline. When ego enters the equation, it distorts perception. Small losses feel catastrophic, small gains feel insufficient, and objectivity disappears. What once was a chart becomes a judgment on you rather than a signal. Supporting this, a 2018 study in the Journal of Behavioral Finance examined how self-identity influences financial decisions. Traders who tied their personal value to performance took unnecessary risks and made emotionally driven choices, while those who cultivated detachment maintained clarity and resilience. Identity is not just abstract psychology, it is the lens through which all market data is interpreted. When that lens is skewed, the signal is lost in the noise. Here's the razor-sharp realization: your trades are not a reflection of your worth. The moment you attach your ego to profit or loss, your decision-making becomes reactive. Elite traders develop the skill of detachment, not indifference, but clarity. Each trade is an opportunity to practice calm observation, not validation or revenge. To bring this insight into your daily routine, start with a simple declaration. Write down the phrase, "I am not my trades." Read it quietly before every session. After a loss, pause and notice the emotion that tried to define who you are. Name it, observe it, let it pass. Over time, you will begin to trade without the weight of ego and identity clouding your judgment. Because the moment you separate self from performance, you gain freedom. The charts no longer judge you, the market becomes a partner in skill, discipline, and growth. And in that detachment lies a power no strategy, indicator, or setup can ever provide: control over the one thing that truly determines trading success, your own mind. Chapter 4: Building Psychological Capital. Trading is a marathon, not a sprint, and what separates the survivors from the overwhelmed isn't strategy, it's psychological capital. Carol Dweck provides the key: in a fixed mindset, failure defines you; in a growth mindset, failure refines you. Every loss, every drawdown, every moment of frustration isn't a verdict on your ability, it's a chance to grow, adapt, and refine the very skills that make a trader resilient. Morgan Housel adds another dimension: doing well with money isn't necessarily about what you know, it's about how you behave. Knowledge alone cannot shield you from emotional pitfalls, overconfidence, or poor habits. The true edge comes from cultivating behaviors that allow you to respond wisely under stress, remain patient, and stay disciplined over the long haul. A 2021 study in the Harvard Business Review examined financial professionals and found that those with high levels of psychological capital, resilience, optimism, and self-awareness consistently outperformed peers during volatility and uncertainty. Mindset isn't just a soft skill, it's measurable, trainable, and directly linked to performance. Your mental reserves are as critical as your capital account. Here's the decisive insight: trading is a test of your inner resources. The market will always challenge you, shake your confidence, and push you toward reactive behavior. To bring this into your routine, end each trading day with a simple reflection. Note one lesson you discovered through discomfort and one behavior you can refine tomorrow. Take a moment to acknowledge progress, however small, instead of chasing perfection. Over time, this habit builds an internal edge far more powerful than any chart pattern or system. Because the moment you realize that mastery isn't just about knowing the market, but about cultivating your inner resources, you gain freedom. You no longer fear losses or mistakes. Their purpose is clear: they are the forge where your resilience, clarity, and discipline are strengthened, and that, more than any indicator, is the ultimate edge in trading. Chapter 5: The Flow State of a Consistent Trader. Trading is not just a series of decisions, it is a dance between skill and challenge, a state where the mind and market move as one. Millie captured this perfectly. The best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive ones, they are when we are fully engaged. The traders who consistently outperform aren't necessarily smarter, they've learned to enter a flow state where each action is precise, deliberate, and unhindered by fear or doubt. Gary Dayton adds an essential layer: mindfulness is not the absence of thought, but the awareness of it. Being aware doesn't mean being empty-headed. It means noticing every impulse, every flicker of emotion, and allowing it to pass without letting it dictate action. This awareness forms the bridge between emotion and execution, turning impulsive reactions into thoughtful trades. Recent research in 2022, published in Frontiers in Psychology, demonstrates that mindfulness significantly improves decision accuracy under uncertainty. Traders who maintain present moment awareness are less susceptible to distraction, overreaction, and emotional hijacking. Here's the subtle shift that separates ordinary traders from masters. Instead of juggling multiple charts, overanalyzing indicators, or reacting to every tick, they simplify: one chart, one time frame, one trade at a time. When distraction strikes, which it always will, they return to the breath, the simplest and most accessible anchor of awareness. This isn't a soft skill, it is a practical edge that filters noise, sharpens focus, and heightens perception. To bring this into your routine, start with a brief pause before trading. Take 5 minutes of mindful breathing, allowing thoughts and anxieties to settle. Then approach your setup with full attention, letting each action emerge from clarity rather than compulsion. Because the moment you realize that consistency isn't created by chasing setups or mastering systems but by cultivating the flow within yourself, you unlock a power no indicator or method can provide. The market becomes a mirror of your focus, not a battlefield of fear, and that, above all, is the edge of the consistent trader: mastery of attention, awareness, and presence. Conclusion: the inner game of trading. Trading mastery has never been about predicting the market, it's about mastering yourself. Alexander Elder once said, "The goal of a successful trader is to make the best trades, money is secondary." That single line cuts straight to the truth. The market rewards process, not obsession. It rewards those who can stay calm when chaos hits, patient when opportunity hides, and disciplined when temptation screams. Recent research in the Journal of Financial Markets 2023 confirms what veteran traders have always known: emotional intelligence is one of the strongest predictors of trading success. Those who can regulate their emotions, maintain awareness, and adapt quickly outperform those chasing systems or signals. It's not the indicator on your chart that makes you consistent, it's the awareness behind your decisions, the discipline in your habits, and the calmness in your response. In the end, trading isn't about conquering the market, it's about conquering your own impulses: the fear that freezes you, the greed that blinds you, the ego that refuses to let go. The greatest traders aren't fearless, they're self-aware. They feel the emotion, see it, and then choose clarity over reaction. That's the quiet power behind every consistent performer: the ability to act with precision, not emotion. Before every trade, pause, take a breath, check your emotional state. Don't trade if your mind is racing. After every session, reflect, write down what happened, not just in your trades, but inside you. Identify the patterns that shape your results. When you lose, reframe it. It's not failure, it's feedback. The market is your teacher, not your enemy. Your edge isn't in the chart, it's in your mindset. The market doesn't reward perfection, it rewards self-mastery. So here's your work for today: prepare, observe, and grow. And if this message resonates with you, like, subscribe, and share Inside the Trading Psychology with those who, like you, are chasing not just profits, but mastery. More lessons, more insights, and more real conversations are waiting for you there.